There you are. Usually our team's pretty quick. How's it going,
Yeah,
Dan?
I'm great, thanks. Sorry, I coming in like hot from a presentation. I was presenting on
We
Autodesk
appreciate
Build
you.
just
We
before that.
we
But
appreciate you being just jumping from one to the next.
I love it. I love it. So, I wanted to put together a recap of Autodesk University 2024, but like there's been 1,000 of those, so I decided to do mine just a little bit differently. Um, and just a quick note, everything you hear and see in this is my personal opinion, does not reflect the opinion of my company, any of my supervisors, Autodesk, or anyone of us standing significance.
We love the safeguards.
But we are going to go ahead and dive into it. So this is Autodesk University, just a quick recap. Um, and you'll learn real quick what I'm doing is a little bit different than what most people are doing for their AU recaps. So first off, let's start with the location. Where was Autodesk University? It was in San Diego, which means obviously a great place to host Autodesk University. If you were there, you'll know that the weather was absolutely great. Personally, I would go to San Diego 100 times more before I went back to Vegas, but I thought it was awesome that Autodesk moved AU out of Vegas to try another location. Next year, AU is going to be in Nashville. So if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be a bit easier to get to. So I recommend checking it out because location is a huge part of the AU experience. Next, if you've never been to AU, it's a lot. There's parties, there's classes, there's networking, there's community events, there's big announcements from Autodesk University. And this is just a quick collage of all the photos that I took, not all, but some of the photos I took. And like
Dan,
obviously far and away.
are you sharing?
Am I
Sorry,
not sharing?
I
I
don't
thought I was
see.
sharing.
Maybe I'm missing it.
No, I
I don't
should be
think so.
sharing. Do you see it now?
Luckily, we didn't need to know really any imagery before then. San Diego
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Nashville, we know where those places are.
Awesome.
Yes, we
So
see
can
it.
you
We got
see
it.
now you can see my collage. Okay, um, so yes, so lots of activity going on, and I have read tons and tons of AU recaps, and there's no way that one person can cover everything that's going on at AU, and it's simply because there's just so much going on. So what I wanted to focus on first were the major announcements that stood out to me and why they're kind of important. The first one being Autodesk AI. So Autodesk is releasing their new AI module, which will, in the future state, be able to leverage the data you put on Autodesk Construction Cloud to facilitate semantic conversations with your project. The growing relationship between Esri and Autodesk, which is now really starting to play huge impacts on the sort of environment that we exist in with Autodesk. Content catalog is now like out and about. It's publicly announced to formally unify. It is, as of this morning, broken. They pushed an update, which is always fun. Workshop XR is now available for everybody. So that was formerly the Wild, but that is now available to anybody as an Autodesk client. There is now ACC for government. The big piece of this is that Autodesk has officially earned their FedRAMP certification. So they now have a FedRAMP certified Autodesk Construction Cloud platform. And then they're working on and releasing the carbon calculators for Autodesk Forma, which brings those carbon calculations forward in the design process. Big step forward as far as like the sustainability. By the way, all of these are links, and I will show you at the end of this presentation how you can access all of my data and my research here. So let's talk about the big themes. So there's three main themes that stood out to me. There was the artificial intelligence, the convergence of BIM and GIS, and sustainability. Really quickly, instead of giving you a rundown of these, I want to point you to some classes I think that really highlighted these. So the first one is the artificial intelligence with Bernini. So Bernini is Autodesk's experimental AI tool. It basically takes 2D images and converts them into 3D model objects. It's pretty whiz bang awesome. But that is Autodesk's step forward into the generative AI ecosystem. And then as far as specific classes, there is this class, AI and machine learning are not ChatGPT, a brief explanation of the levels of AI and machine learning and their uses. It's a heck of a title, but the reason why this is an awesome class is Peter explains what the difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence are and how they can actually be used in the AEC space. This is a great primer if you're newer to AI or the whole like artificial intelligence world. And it kind of breaks everything down nice and easy for simple people like me to understand. The next class under the AI sort of theme is Design Smarter, Not Harder, AI-driven comparison and optimization with large language models and Autodesk Forma. In this presentation, the team cover how AI revolutionized design optimization. So they were able to tie a large language model to their Autodesk Construction Cloud ecosystem, and then leverage that data in Forma. It gets pretty heavy, but this is really awesome if you're trying to look at how you can integrate large language models and artificial intelligence into your ACC data. This presentation by Dennis Joff, Artificial Intern, is all about automating design tasks using AI. So the whole concept of this presentation is you can basically automate parts of your design, either generative or procedural based on your project data. And then they showcase some of the special tools that ZGF created, which is actually really neat. So if you want to ask code questions while you're working in Revit, you can absolutely do that. The next major theme is BIM and GIS. So again, BIM and GIS are sort of converging. If you're like me and you have a dangerous understanding of what GIS is, it's basically like BIM, but it's everything outside the building footprint. And these two worlds are coming closer and closer together. And this has been a growing theme in all the AUs I've been to so far. First class I want to point you to is automating design workflows using ArcGIS machine learning tools and aerial location intelligence. This is an absolutely fascinating class where Kimberly Horn took information from Esri and was able to use the machine learning visual tools to start doing quantifications from objects on site. So they were doing takeoffs of all the parking spaces on an existing parking facility. And all that information feeds forward into their actual design information. So they had really robust GIS and concrete project data going into design. The next one is breaking down barriers, a BIM to GIS workflow. Again, this one's pretty heavy-handed, but what this presentation goes through is how this team integrated their Esri ecosystem into the Autodesk ecosystem. And that facilitates a lot of their design workflows. And by bringing together the Esri ecosystem and the Autodesk ecosystem, their civil teams are better able to coordinate with their design and build teams. The final third theme is sustainability. This one comes up over and over again, but Autodesk is making some big strides. There's two classes in here I want to highlight. The first one is digital considerations for a circular future. This is arguably the most beautifully composed AU class I've ever seen, just simply because the graphics are so good. But Sam Sweeney from 3XN GXN showcases how they use digital tools like Rhino inside Beam and Speckle to enhance their Revit workflows, which gives them stronger understanding of the carbon cost, the physical materials, and things like that. It's really hard to summarize this presentation in a single sentence, but they go soup to nuts on how by bringing together all these different tools, how they have a robust 360 design ecosystem. And then finally is sustainability and sort of AI and Forma, leveraging Autodesk Forma to expand the understanding of context and development. In this presentation, the team goes through how they use Forma to establish like design options, how they use those design options to then understand design impacts and like how that impacts downstream quantities. And then they also use this information for like microclimate adjustments, and it allows the design team to continue to think about sustainability much earlier in the design process, when they're literally just pushing and pulling blocks and they're trying to understand how's that going to impact my groundwater runoff and my environmental ecosystem. I like this so much I put the slide in there twice apparently. And that is my recap of AU and the major themes and all the classes you should consider going and visiting. I'm going to leave this QR code up here while I stall for just a little bit. This will download it from my Google Drive, and you are welcome to have it. If there's anything else you want to chat about, please feel free to reach out to me. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dana.
Well, Dan, as someone who is not at AU, thank you so much for the recap. That was very enlightening.